Schroeder looking for options. Cohen Bosch, skip pass out wide, been intercepted. This is a pure Janchi. Farsi chasing on over the halfway. Janchi caught on.
And if you are looking to get involved, please, you have Garth. Even give me a shout, give somebody else a shout. Just phone the school directly. We can do this. We can really do this. So let's get into some of the questions. Geez, they're coming thick and fast here. The 1998 boys. Brilliant. Okay, so I think let's just start with Oggies. Darren, you put your hand up there nice and early. You can come out of mic and just ask here, and then I'll ask some of the other questions as we go through. Or if you are here, I'll just ask you to maybe ask the question quickly. All right, Oggies?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Put my video and text back on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So, Garth, first and foremost, I must thank you for this. Is positive. This is fantastic. Those who have been involved with me over the many years since I left in the 90s in the school, I've been very involved in the school and trying to look for some sort of positive advice. So when I start with saying thank you for a opportunity like this for the old boys to engage with the headmaster and see where we're going, I honestly, you and I have engaged a lot over the last since your start.
Let's just come. I just want to tell you guys, Oggies is the guy who started the 100s Club, came up with the idea, got everything together. He really has almost kickstarted us a little bit, getting back into the real things. But Oggies, please keep it short and sweet. You got like a 30-second question, and then let's get on with this, because I know you can spin a yarn, my boy.
And don't I love spinning
30 seconds. Come on, let's go.
So Garth, I'm thank you very much for what you're doing, and I want to thank you because I am seeing, and I've preached the positivity about the school and where we're going. Thank you. I just want to actually say thank you for what you're doing, where we're going. I put my hand up when you mentioned the concept of architect and the opportunity of some person getting a chance. I'd rather employ an architect that came from Dale College than anywhere else. There is an architect's. There's a business network going out with through a Dell group and Dell network. I really want to encourage all Dalians to look after themselves within their same group and their same clan, because that's what I was promised when I left as an old Dalian. And there are many guys. Dave Elwood, I see he's here tonight. He's looked after me. He's looked after many of us. And just networking with people that can help each other, and that's why you stay within the Old Dalian network, and hence through that possibility, like a Hilton House, like other very
wrap up at this bill.
It's going to moderate you off.
Yeah, listen, we're going
I'm trying to make a point here, which is important. That
you make the point quick, so we have
to teach the youngsters about staying part of an Old Dalian network. Hence, you support it. Hence, you get back and you give back.
And this is something that I think we all need to sit down, especially as an executive, and come together and say, how can we help this? And especially take from other guys that have done it before and things like that. But very true, very right. And
Nick, I saw a question that David was asking about the contribution. And Darren, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that encouragement. Hey? We take it to heart. Thank you for your support as well. I saw David had a question about where are we and what percentage of the funding we're at. Should I respond to that quickly?
Yep, go for it.
So it's a bit of a difficult one to respond to, and let me be absolutely transparent. In our budget meeting now recently, we've kind of put a contingency amount that we are willing to contribute towards these posts, but and that's kind of to get us over the line. I said to the governing body, if we're not close enough to the line, we need to say, guys, this funding's not available. We cannot overextend ourselves, and we need to withdraw from these opportunities. So kind of there's a significant chunk, probably about a 25% chunk that the governing body are willing to invest in these posts. But preferably, if we can get all Dalians to contribute to that, we can put that money into the bus fund rather, which is where we've stolen it from, if that makes sense. And then as well, an old Dalian based up in Joburg who made a contribution. You know, when I started, he said, "Garth, let me introduce yourself. I'm quite happy. I give this amount every year, and I'm happy to keep on doing that. In fact, let me double it. the set amount for the amount that it's always been used for, which is supporting kids in hostel, and then the extra amount for whatever you see fit. And when I sent out that email, he replied to say, Garth, I'm still happy to continue giving my amount. You use it as you see fit. And I replied saying, absolutely, thank you. Let's put it towards this post for now. But like, if there's enough other support coming in, I would love to use that money for what it's always been, you know, the nice to haves around. So it's a bit difficult to say where we are. If we take all of those contributions together, we're probably sitting at about 55% of what we need. So another 45,000. You saw I had the figure of 100,000 a month. And that's ballpark. It's quite difficult to judge until we've done the interviews and we've seen what people's salaries slips that we would need to be matching are in. We don't really know what these posts are going to cost us, but 100,000 a month would pretty much cover 2 salaries, including a 13th check, plus all the on the sides, pension fund and whatever else.
Okay, great. I'm sure that answers the question. Just Lungile Bombu, all the way from Washington, D.C. You had a bit of question about being biased towards sports, particularly rugby and as a whole. Sticks, would you like to come in there? Just a 30 seconds, please, guys. Let's hold it to 30 seconds.
Thanks, Nick. So pretty much just to spread on the question is, we've got a lot of Dalians that are doing a lot of great work in so many different areas. We can count people in entertainment, in music, in medical fields, and a whole lot of other areas. And I think it's important that we don't only concentrate on really, full blasting on one particular area, which is sport and particularly rugby. We try to make sure that the kids can see that, we are doing excelling in other areas as well, because that will help motivate them. Because someone might not be good in sport, but can always feel good that they can always go in that direction because they see someone who's from their college doing well in that direction. So I think that will help, build motivations in other areas and people that are not that good in sport. So something that we need to make sure we build on.
Lungile, let me share with you something that we've been thinking about and talking about. It was a suggestion which came earlier this year. We haven't actually implemented it, but would love to. In fact, it fits into that business operations portfolio, is to create an honors board. In the hall, we've got honors boards dominated by sport mostly, but to be able to have an honors board for not only school academics, but old Dalians who've gone on to achieve, and then you need to measure that. What are you achieving? Is it somebody who's become an advocate or become, a master's qualification or a PhD or whatever the story is, but old Dalians who've achieved certain criteria beyond school, maybe to be able to recognize that as well, and we should certainly be thinking out of the box in terms of what else are we prioritizing, because if we're not prioritizing, it's not there as a carrot to the kids.
What do they say? I think that they say 0.001% of schoolboy rugby players will become a Springbok.
Yeah,
but we can make 100 upstanding young students that go into society and give back every year.
Absolutely. And yet it's that difficult situation because that sport is such a powerful window. You can generate more marketing income through your sport than you can through your academic results. But in terms of long-term sustainability, there's no doubt where the priority is.
Cool. I know you said Dave Turnbull answered it. Dave, did you want to ask something else? I know you put up your hand earlier. You were second in the queue.
Yeah, no, it wasn't really a question. It was more a response to Lungile, just as from the ODU exec side, Lungile. September and I are working quite closely with another old Dalian who's in like the comms space. We're trying to improve the communications as the ODU itself. And one of the things that we pointed out was specifically that we've got, people may not know, but two of the young journalists at ENCA who are very prominent are old Dalians. We've got some struggling comedians like Rooster who may need some additional boosting of content out there. So, we've got to help him out. And then, there's a few guys that are in different facets that we've already said as the ODU we need to improve the communication on. So we are working on that as well. So it's the one thing with the school, but also as an organization, it's all well and good that we love to share the trials from Upper Fussy. No one's going to not watch that. But equally, we can, as I say, we can promote guys like Urban Whittles and Avu Mtila and various others. There's many others in various fields. And some are completely random. A guy in my class who was not a prominent guy at school, he won some award for an art installation he had done in Cape Town. which was quite.
And these things we don't know.
Yeah.
So we
So
need to
there's like little things that we want to try and do as the
Cool.
ODU as well.
Thanks,
so we are
Dave.
working on that.
Awesome. That's definitely a point we need to put down. We'll put that down. I see Eric Chang, you next in the queue.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm here in Los Angeles, and Garth. First of all, I want to thank you and appreciate all of your hard work. I can sense it, and every word that you mentioned really touches my heart. The things that you're doing for Dale College, I have no words to describe how much I appreciate your effort. My question is, I see a lot of stress on your administration and also your staff that you guys are burning out. And what about parent and teacher association support? I believe when I was at Dale, there's a parent teacher association associated with some of the workloads, taking some workloads off the staff's back. So I was wondering, is there anything in place like that in Dale College right now?
Thanks, Eric. And nice to hear from you. I remember connecting with you at Reunion 2 years ago.
Yeah, the man who makes brilliant biltong.
Eric, yes, so actually, absolutely, our PTA is functional. It's probably not as big as what we would like to have it. But for example, when we did that paving, we extended the paving up the drop and go zone, and we said let's specifically earmark PTA funds to this project, and let's put a sign up there. We haven't done that yet, but which says sponsored by the Parents Teachers Association. Because for so many parents, that's mostly what they see at Dale College, and encourage them to get involved. It's not as big as it should be, and I'll tell you one simple reason why. I think 30 years ago, a lot more of Dale College was in this hub called King Williamstown, and the parents were close by. Whereas now our community is much more dispersed. We're attracting kids from far who are not necessarily in our hostels, and parents are not just as mobile, able to be involved, a lot more absent, if I can say that, and that does come across critically. And parents are not as easily accessible to get involved in that kind of an organization. But we do certainly want to grow that. And a big way that we've been trying to do that is to grow the involvement on a Saturday at the sports field, which we haven't had for the last 2 years. Tuck shop being run by parents, boerewors being bribed by parents, lunches being packed by parents, whatever the story is, trying to get them involved in that way and contributing to the school. Thank you for your support. Nick, you're muted, mate. You're talking to yourself.
Dumbass. Thanks very much, Eric. That was an awesome question. Thanks, Garth. We're going to do 5 more questions quickly. We're trying to get done in about 8 minutes. Probably going to go a bit over. Try and hit quarter past.
A bit over.
Yeah, a little bit over. Next up is Lutando Mondliwe. Then we're going to get to Savukele, Mali Tom, Francis Kingston, and then Lozole Yoke.
30 seconds, gents. Go.
Okay, let's go. Let's keep it nice and short, please.
Okay, evening, gents.
Lutando.
Garth, firstly, man, I just want to thank you for all the work that you and the staff are doing. It's really, really amazing stuff that you guys are doing. And it's also great to see all faces. I see Lungile both up sticks. It's good to see all faces as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to try and make it very quick. Garth, I just need 2 things from you and the staff. Is it possible for you guys to send us either on a newsletter or an email a list of things that are needed, like immediately?
Yeah.
With the amount and everything, so that it's clear, so that the obos know what needs to be done, and the obos know what needs to be contributed. And I also feel that somehow we need to strengthen our board structure. I don't think there are schools around the country that are successful that don't have a very good OBO structure. Our OBO structure at the present moment not as strong as it's supposed to be. We need to find a way of strengthening that structure. More OBOs can contribute and add more value to the school. But that's just something that I think we need to find out a way of doing it.
Can I quickly come in there? I think it is something that a lot of old boys have been asking for and wanting to know about the structures. And I know that tips, it's probably not something that Garth wants to audit, but it's something that tips and Dave and the exec guys will probably come back and it is something that we need to sit down and think about and actually get a proper structure in place and almost send something like this and say, these are the different things that we want to do. But you're 100% right. I get so many guys saying, I never hear, I give, but I want to hear the feedback, and it is something that we need to work on.
Let me say as well, Lutondo, Sinatemba kicked me under the table now. The whole year he's been asking me for a wish list from us. But it's sometimes challenging to do. There's so many things that we would like to have as a school, but what's priority? Well, I'll tell you, priority number one now is to get 2 more high capacity people who can help lay strong foundations. But
that's a wish list right there.
Let's develop that list of more tangible things that can be ticked off alongside that major goal.
Okay, brilliant. I think it's Simon Kele. Are you still there?
Thank you, guys. Yes, I am. Garth, my question is just around the old boy, new boy culture. Is it still around? I know for us back in the day, I was a hostel scholar. It used to be very important in a sense, just trying to curb those behavioral issues that you'd have, as you'd know that, if I do misbehave, if I get detention, then my old boy back at hostel is going to give me a hard time with me, making sure everything is proper. So is that still in place? Thank you.
Yeah, Simkele, it isn't, unfortunately. It is something that we would love to introduce. The challenge that schools like ours face around the country, around the world, is to do it sustainably and in a way that doesn't bring trouble, because it's so easily open to abuse. But certainly we are looking to prioritize it. In fact, one of the things that we're launching next year is a mentorship program and training happening this week sometime. I think it might be Friday. That I think there are about 37 or 38 grade 11 kids who put their hands up and said, we would like to get involved in this mentorship program. And basically the idea is to connect kids, matric kids who've been trained and trusted and signed off in terms of this mentorship program with younger kids coming into the school. So basically reintroducing that, but not in a way that every single matric is entitled to having a junior. You've got to have the boxes ticked to be able to be on that program, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit different, but certainly recognizing there's still value in that kind of a system.
I remember it was a bit of a lucky packet who you got as an old boy.
Just to put in on what Garth was saying, Simamgale, you've got to understand that what you're mentioning is crucial, and it's very crucial to all old traditional boys' schools. And you've got to understand that now we're dealing with a very different generation. We're dealing with a generation that will tell you about constitutional rights, that will tell you about human rights, and in their rights, they are correct. So with the mentorship program that Garth is talking about, it's actually trying to incorporate the tradition, but also following legal, everything that's legal with it. And remember, this is an institution for learning for kids. So the minute you talk about that, you talk about the Children's Act. So this is an institution where every educator is supposed to look at the well-being of a learner. So in terms of doing that and to incorporate traditions at the same time, you've got to look at the legal aspect of it,
Spoken by a true advocate right there. Yeah. He knows.
I think, the mentorship program that Garth is talking about is, for me, it's crucial. And in it being crucial, I even asked Garth that, can we as old boys also chip in terms of guiding the boys with the tradition, because they need to understand why the traditions were there, and they need to understand why it is important to keep those traditions, but obviously moving with time.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Cool. We're going to go through the last 3 questions. I think Malaboy Tom asked if there's going to be a copy of the preso afterwards. Yes, there is. We'll also have the video to give you, but we'll make sure that everybody can get a copy of the preso. Franz Kingston asked, when do you need the commitment of the funds?
Yeah, Francis, thank you. Nice to hear from you as well. So, I mean, we've advertised the posts. I'm assuming you would have seen them on social media. Director of Sport, closing date, Friday the 29th of October. So if you see interviews happening 2 weeks down the line, Deputy Principal closing 5th of November. So interviews happening there 2 weeks down the line. Like we we kind of need to, we close that post and we say, are we close enough to the line? Can we go with this? Or if we go with this, we're extending ourselves. And to help you all boys understand, I mean, the challenge is with these posts, they funded externally, funded by old boys, but the contract is with the governing body. And so the governing body is carrying that liability. You know, if I mess up and I anger the old boys and the old boys all pull their money out, then the governing body and school fees needs to continue carrying that contract long term. And that's a risky position, which we've had to debate in our budget meeting last week. So yeah, kind of end of this month, halfway through November, we need to be in a position. The funding doesn't need to be coming in now. You know, the posts are only for appointment in January. And to be honest, people might need to give notice. We might only be able to make the appointments for later, you know, March even next year. But yeah, we do need some form of commitment when we get to the point of offering a contract.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I think that's answered. We can have the last question. And I'm sorry, Avongiwe, please just put it in the messages. I know you raised your hands. A lot of guys raising their hands. Put the questions in. We will make sure that we answer all of them. We'll get them to Garth. Right, Zole. Laz.
Yeah.
Make it a good one. This is the last one. Make sure it's a good one, pal.
Yeah, no, it is. Good evening, guys. On the drug situation that you have at Dale, drugs are a community issue. And Dale is obviously a community school. I just want to find out, are there any drives that you guys are doing as a school, you know, to sort of have drug prevention for the community? I think you being involved in that, you know, would actually lessen the problem for the school.
Yeah. Thanks, Lazola. Yeah, good question. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, we've prioritized and put our bang where our buck is. Start of 2020, one of the additional posts that I absolutely motivated to the governing body for the budget for 2020 was a counsellor. And I'm very pleased with who we've appointed. The person, the successful candidate is a drug rehab expert. You know, she was a counsellor here in town, 13 years of her experience being done at a drug rehabilitation centre in the Southern Cape. She really understands drug rehabilitation work, and she's basically with us and doing counseling, group counseling, individual counseling, putting systems in place. We've developed a really strong policy. I'd happily share that policy with people who are interested. It talks a lot about support and says to the kid, if you come out and you seek support, that promise of support is there. And you know, that's something that I've had to break into the kids' minds is we don't just want to expel you. We want to support you out of this. You know, Royden, I see Royden on the call here. You know, Royden is adding, is going to be added to our discipline office next year. And basically, the realization is that we need a head of discipline and a support discipline to help hold this portfolio. Let's be clear, the portfolio is not called discipline; it's called discipline and pastoral support. You know, those two go hand in hand, and so we really are all about providing that support to get the kids through this dependency, as opposed to just expelling them off it. Let me say one more thing on that. Earlier this year, we had quite ugly incidents which generated quite a lot of chat. You might have seen me being dragged through the mud on social media as well. And the realization was we cannot just discipline kids out of their drug use. We have to educate them out of their drug use as well. And I don't want to say brought about a change in tact. I think we always knew that, but just made it more apparent that we've got to be more aggressive is the wrong connotations, but we've got to be more aggressive in teaching the kids the right things.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Listen, I'm going to put Garth's details again in the in-call messages. So you can just, if you want to save it, it's Dr. Garth Shaw there. Just have a look at it. Please save his number. If you want to give him some encouragement, he loves a little WhatsApp. A voice note, his favorite. Send him a voice note. That man loves a good voice note.
Just not as long as Nick's, please.
No, just double time. You've got to double time mine, but there's his number there, guys, and it's Headmaster at Dale College, correct?
Yes, that's right. Nick, are we going to go with David? Is David going to give us a 101 introduction 101?
Okay. We can go that. Remember, guys, if you want to leave, don't stress. Thanks so much. I mean, we can keep going all night. I don't. We could turn off the mics and keep going. Just to end off there. So again, I just want to say thanks again to everybody. Remember, you don't have to just give financial. If you want to give a bit of time, you know, that's probably the most valuable thing you can do. If you'd like to give a bit of time, that's perfectly fine. Dave, take it away, you champion.
Okay, well, it's not that complicated. It's
Section 18. I don't know. It sounds complicated to me.
Section 18A. It sounds complicated. It's not complicated. Basically, any taxpayer is entitled to donate up to 10% of their taxable income to an approved organization. So obviously, Dale is an approved organization. It's allowed to issue like a donation certificate for your donations. And that just means that it's deductible from your taxable earnings in the end. So, it's money that you would have ultimately paid away to SARS anyway, and so that's really the logic behind it. It is limited to 10%. So, obviously, that's really the only criteria, but it's really not that complicated.
So, David, can I ask a question? So, if I'm earning so much and I've got to pay 20,000 to SARS, so 10%, can I only give 2,000 Rand to a company, or can I give that full 20,000 to a company rather than what I pay it to SARS? Or does it mean 10% of my income, which then pulls my income to a so then it pulls my income to a lower category?
100%.
That instead of paying 20%, 20,000 to SARS, now I'm only going to pay 16,000 to SARS.
Yeah. So if you earn, let's just say you earn 500,000 Rand a year, you can give 50,000 Rand a year to for an 18A donation. And that means that your taxable income goes from being 500,000 to 450,000. So whatever your marginal rate would have been, if it's 30% at 500,000, then you effectively get to keep 30% of that 50,000 Rand that you donated, as in you didn't have to pay it over to SARS. If it's already been paid over to SARS, then it means that SARS will pay that back to you through your return. Yeah.
Thank you.
I can, Garth, I actually need to run home. You spend so much time in that office.
I need to run to the bathroom, Ruth.
The bathroom. The bathroom. I think we should call it, guys. Let's not. I think we ended off on a good note.
Nick, I love your suggestion that we do this every term, and absolutely, I want to say let's put the date in it now already, and let's do it. Thank you all, boys, for joining, and thank you for all your support. I know Nick is pleading with you to support, but I really do appreciate it. Those messages I get really do encourage.
Voice notes, pal. Voice notes. Send in that voice note.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys. Thanks, Amadoda.
Schroeder looking for options. Cohen Bosch, skip pass on one, been intercepted. This is a pure Janchi. Farsi chasing on over the halfway. Janchi caught on.